Thanks. It's great to be with you here today. So my name is Negar Rafikian. I work at the World Bank, and I'm the chair of the board of the AHRMIO. And I have been in the business of HR for over 30 years and have dealt with crisis for quite a long time. So it's been very helpful to have that background and exposure of the past to be able to really support our people in an effective way, along with an army of colleagues at the World Bank that have put the people at the center of their lives, especially since the pandemic. So it's been very touching that our institution has really put the people at the center of their world. And everything we've done, it's been around how do we make sure that we have a very solid framework, which we already do because our organizations tend to really operate well under crisis in our collaboration with sister organizations, setting up a 24/7 helpline so that our staff don't have to remember different numbers and different venues that we have normally in the bank, but just one extension to call in and get all the help they need, the guidance, the advice. And so for us, it's been great to stay very focused. It's been very important with our leaders who've really been exemplary to make sure that there is a very transparent method of communication to help our people to know what's coming next or what we're doing. Many avenues where people at their own leisure time can look, read through, and observe. And when I say our people, I refer to our staff, their families, our retirees, our consultants, our contractors. So we leave no one behind. It's been, for me, coming from HR background, it's been really, really a great honor to serve our people. Challenging of this specific pandemic was it didn't knock on the door, it just arrived. And so thanks to the already established mechanism in the bank, we were very quick to look at all the needed expertise at the table. There was a lot of collaboration internally and externally. And for us, challenges are really opportunities because again, we operate probably at our best during crisis. For me, the challenge was to make sure everyone is connected and everyone is supported, and that especially those who would be not feeling good, not worrying about who do I need to talk to, right? So the mechanism we built in was very, very effective. That even if the staff just called in, we would follow up, right? Like within 10 days or 14 days, we'd follow up back to make sure that they're okay, if they needed additional information. But for us supporting our people, it was always the thinking about them. So sometimes it gets you off focus because you're so worried. On the other hand, it strengthened us because we made sure nobody fell through the crack. So it's one of those balancing acts in our world in HR, normally anyway, but in this pandemic, it was a bit more important because again, it was there, it was coming at us, and just like any other organization and at the country level, it's harder to vision what's coming. So you really need to have all your critical path thought through, think of unthinkable, and just be ready for others. For us, we had a lot of innovation actually, or I should say resiliency. We had established a great and clear line of communication, taking pulse of our staff. We had surveys, we had call-ins, we had town halls. So we did that purposely to get the sentiment of our colleagues and making sure that looping it back to see whether or not our policies fit the needs of different categories of our people. a single parent might have required an additional support system in certain areas. And we had the amazing capacity with our leaders to really be on top of these things. And so we were able to change mechanisms very quickly, make our policies flexible, deliver on time. You know, like I really don't necessarily recall an issue that was raised that was not addressed, right? So we were all at it. We were all, it's a large team at the back end where an issue that would come up and we would be looking into it. We would be getting teams together, the respective teams, in order to look at the policies or look at how we can, I don't know, fast forward a visa for our staff under certain categories. It really rolled. So I would say we were innovating, but a very practical innovation, something that was needed, looked back, created, and delivered. We learned that supporting people is not one size fits all. People behave differently during crisis. People's needs are very different. And so at the institutional level, it's really important early on to create that balancing act that I referred to earlier and how best we can come forward to make it work. Two, I think it's really important to have our ears out what's going on in our external environment, right? Because we're all affected by our external environment, and to support staff. I mean, for example, during this crisis, immediately they needed larger screens at home. You know, we made that happen for them. They needed comfortable chairs so that they could be more productive. No problem. You know, we made sure that they had it. Our technology team were just amazing. You know, literally that very same day, I do not recall any disruption. So there were no, there was nothing there that made the stress level of our staff higher, right? Other than, you know, the human behavior towards the pandemic, that it's, you know, even though we had a tremendous amount of support on our health group and the psychological support, still there's a certain level that you cannot control for every person. So that resiliency, that collaboration, that collegiality where we, at the back end again, we were very collegial in coming to each other's rescue if one was totally buried under execution of policies or whatever. We had others who would come in. Everybody was supporting the deliverables for our people. And I think there's nothing more innovative than that, where territories of this is my work, that's your work, was not there. Nothing was on our way to getting our work done, supporting our people. And that was really rewarding. Lucy, it's great to see you. Have a safe one.